Recently, the trade became official. Bradley Beal has joined the Phoenix Suns, setting themselves up to be an even stronger contender in the Western Conference. Despite Beal being the biggest star in the actual trade packages, he's not the player who's being discussed the most as a result. That would be his new teammate and the former MVP winner, Kevin Durant. Social media has been quick to point out the fact that KD has now been a part of 4 separate super teams throughout the duration of his career. Whether or not you agree on the internet's general definition of a super team, the point remains the same. Durant is continuously finding himself on incredibly talented squads, and despite this being a theme throughout the vast majority of his career, he still only has 2 championship rings to show for it, which came from his days in Golden State. When the legendary Jerry West was a part of the Golden State Warriors front office, he was a massive influence in the recruitment pitch for Kevin Durant. One of the things that West told Durant was to imagine all the open shots he would get as a member of that team. That went on to be exactly the case. With arguably the 2 greatest three-point shooters in the history of the NBA beside him, Durant was often left wide open on the perimeter. The result was 3 straight seasons of the best field goal percentages of his career up to that point. That ridiculous efficiency carried all the way to the NBA Finals, where he won 2 championships and 2 Finals MVPs. At that point, the narrative was born that Kevin Durant could never win a championship if he wasn't on a super team. What made matters worse is how Steph Curry won his 4th championship since the departure of Kevin Durant, meaning that Curry won a ring before, with, and after the departure of Kevin Durant, while KD has only won while Curry was beside him. Regardless, Durant has been continuously giving himself opportunities by landing on super teams. If you choose to blame Kevin Durant for taking the alleged easy road repeatedly, well then there's only so much that you can truly blame him for, considering how Golden State was the only super team that he personally chose to join through free agency. Sure, he signed with Brooklyn in 2019, but Kyrie Irving was the only other superstar on the roster, and at that time, much of the basketball world was excited to see them compete for championships on a more balanced roster compared to the rest of the league. Well, once again, those times are behind us, as the championship-winning Denver Nuggets have already been put on the media's back burner for the more attention-grabbing Phoenix Suns. Whether he wants to acknowledge it or not, this recent turn of events has significant ramifications on the legacy and perception of Kevin Durant. Today, I'm sharing my thoughts on the 7-foot sniper and the outlook I have on his career based on his current situation. KD is heading into his 16th year in the NBA, and before the new season officially begins, he'll be 35 years old. If there's something that he still has to prove for the sake of his legacy, he better do it soon. Because if Father Time is any indication, he doesn't have much time left. In my opinion, his season could play out 3 ways. The first is more of the same as to what we've been seeing from KD in recent years. If the Phoenix Suns end up being eliminated in the NBA Finals, the Conference Finals, or even the first round, it would hardly matter to the greater narrative of his career so far, which is this: Kevin Durant showed that he can only win when he takes the easy road. This is the most prominent narrative of all of KD's naysayers, and they claim that his rings don't carry as much weight as just about every other ring in NBA history. Even though Durant has fans in his corner who don't necessarily agree with this narrative, even they are forced to acknowledge it, as they desperately desire another ring for KD with the hopes that it would finally silence his loudest critics. Regardless of how a healthy Suns team ends up coming short, it will only strengthen the condemning narrative of his career. The second way this season could pan out is Durant's year ending early because of an injury. It's not really the most unforeseen outcome considering how he's in his mid-30s, with a tremendous amount of mileage on his legs. With that being said, this is the only losing scenario where I don't see Durant's reputation taking a further hit. A devastating injury in the latter half of a player's career is a very common occurrence. What's also very common is a squad that was labeled a super team ultimately having their chances ruined due to major injuries, despite the high preseason odds. In this case, I think Durant would get a pass, as super teams have repeatedly fallen to the injury bug, and many of the great players involved have had their legacies proceed unscathed as a result. The third scenario is easy to guess at this point, and that's the Suns winning the NBA championship. Some basketball fans and every Kevin Durant fan would be rejoicing at the accomplishment of a championship ring outside of Golden State, as an additional ring would be seen by some as the validating piece to the legacy of Kevin Durant. Unfortunately, this is the brutal truth for KD. Year after year, we've been saying that this is the season for Durant to silence all of his critics, as his teams were consistently projected to be title contenders. If he finally wins an additional championship as a part of this super team, I don't believe anything significantly changes within the perspectives of the basketball audiences. The people who were already in favor of Kevin Durant will continue to have his back and sing his praises. But for those who were critical of his rings in Golden State, this would only deepen their belief that he can't be an NBA champion without a super team. In a very ironic way, I believe a ring with this Phoenix squad might even make those specific critics even louder, as they could look at it from the perspective that their feelings were just affirmed. I'm not even expressing my own opinion on Kevin Durant in this video. I just see this as the way the season will unfold in the various scenarios. The most damning thing about all of this is the fact that KD is as old as he is. Superstar players almost never lead their team to a championship once they're over the age of 35 and in their 16th season. Considering how he only has a little time left of elite level basketball, and this is the team he has now, I believe Kevin Durant's legacy is basically set in stone. For years, we speculated on an NBA championship altering his legacy and reputation. But at this point, I truly believe that what his legacy is now is what his legacy will always be, as he's one of the most talented yet polarizing stars that the game of basketball has ever seen. So what do you guys think? Is Kevin Durant's legacy now set in stone, or is there still something he could do in order to validate himself on a widespread level? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Thanks for watching as always. Make sure to like and subscribe for more basketball content, and I'll see you guys in the next video.